Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to an exciting meeting at ITU Toastmasters. Have a safe stay, have some learning. I'm sure you have something to take back as a learning to whether your home club or as your life. Let me invite the presiding officer and Toastmaster today, our wonderful lady who is the epicenter of joy and energy, Toastmaster Jaymol.
Thank you so much, Raghu. Good evening, good morning to all Toastmasters and guests. This is such an exciting meeting today because we have a packed agenda and we have close to 17 members join this call from all over the globe. The theme for today is leading in difficult situations. Now, before I talk about this theme, I would like everyone to turn on your camera so we can see each other and interact well. Kalpana, Daniel, please turn on your camera. So I would like to ask you one question. Who all are in IT profession? Software engineer, working in tech companies. Okay, few of you are there. And leading in difficult situations. Leadership is a journey. And there are many times in my life that I have led in difficult situations. And what is a difficult situation? A difficult situation to me is when I have set the goal, I know what I'm going to get, but then all of a sudden unexpected happens. And then I don't know what to do after that. I lose the original team. I may not have anyone with me, and I have to go with composure. Composure is something that I'm learning. And there are many things, many attributes to a leader when they are composed. So I will share an example with you. At my workplace, I'm a team of 5 engineers and we have a project. So happy we have 5 people working on it. All of a sudden, reorganization happens. 3 people move. I become the leader of that small project. 2 people remain. 1 person leaves and I'm left with another person. We don't have much of coding skills because we didn't work on that project. Am I going to give up? Am I going to show panic, or am I going to remain calm? So we're going to learn more about what I did as we move on with this meeting. We have 2 prepared speeches today. Now, before I call upon prepared speeches, I will talk about our functionary roles. Let me introduce our functionary roles. Our functionary roles for today: grammarian. Grammarian is Nishith. Nishith, could you please introduce your role?
Hey, thank you, Toastmaster Jaymol. Yeah, as a grammarian, I will be listening to everyone's speeches and looking for any interesting words used or looking for any grammatical errors that can be improved upon, and also looking for any words that could be substituted for a better vocabulary. So my job at the end of the meeting will be to give you guys a feedback on what I heard and what I think everyone can do a little bit better. So, and with that, I'd also like to introduce word of the day. The word of the day today is malleable. Malleable means able to be, I have it here, capable of being shaped, altered or controlled by outside forces or influences. So it is said that students' minds are very malleable and they have to be taught the right things. And also it could be used, mallet, if you heard of the noun mallet, it's used to shape objects. So it's malleable is to shape, essentially. So that would be the word of the day today, malleable. And back to you, Toastmaster Jaymol.
Thank you, Nishith. You said it right, malleable. That is Malleable is like being able to change by the outside force. And that is called influence, being easily influenced. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. But I would say you have to have a growth mindset. And at that time, when you have a growth mindset, and if you know that it's a challenge that's going to help you with your growth, then it's best to be malleable and take that challenge. Our next functionary role bearer is an R counter, Hannah. Haven't seen Hannah join the call yet. Let's move on to timer, Swati. Swati, can you please introduce your role, please?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. In Toastmasters, one of our goals is to learn to speak within the time allowed. My job as a timer is to track the time of each of the assigned speaking roles and to signal the speaker how much time they have left. The prepared speeches are usually 5 to 7 minutes. So at 5th minute, I'll change my background to green color. At 6th, it will be yellow. And in the 7th minute, it will be red. And for the table topics, we have 1 to 2 minutes. So at 1st minute, I'll show green card. And at 1.5 minute, I'll show the yellow card. And at the 2nd minute, I'll show the red card. And we also have the time for evaluations as well.
Thank you, Swati. Now, let me call upon our guests so that they can introduce themselves. So let me call upon our guests. Can you please introduce yourself if you are a guest or new to this team?
Good morning from Hong Kong. Yes, I am a guest and I am not new to the team. Looking forward to be here. I would be traveling in a bus, but I wanted to be with you guys and listen to you speak and contribute wherever I can.
Welcome.
Thank you, DTM Raju, for inviting me here.
Welcome. Who else would like to introduce?
I would.
Hi.
Greetings, everyone. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, so I'm Jamie from Mumbai, and it's my pleasure joining you today. And thanks to Toastmaster Raghu for inviting, posting it on the common group. I was interested, so I joined in. So I'm excited to see the further proceedings. Thank you for having me here. Over to you, Shravanti.
Thank you, Jamie.
Good evening, good morning, dear friends, wherever you are. My name is Shravanti. I'm from District 10. I live in Cleveland, Ohio, USA. And I happened to bump into Toastmaster Raghu, I think, over Facebook on a couple of posts. And I found this and I had the hour free. Thought I'd join in and see what this is all about. I'm glad to be here.
Welcome, Shravanti. Go ahead. Jim,
Hi.
Julie, yeah, go ahead. Lorraine.
Hi, thank you so much, PMG. My name is Lorraine and I'm from Manila, Philippines. This is the second time I'm joining and I'm interested in the topic. So thank you so much, everyone, for having me here.
Thank you, Lorraine. Welcome, Lorraine.
Okay, I'm next, Julie Salgo. I am from Florida right now. I am tickled to pieces to attend a meeting like this with diverse nationalities and accents and backgrounds. I am looking forward to listening to the meeting. I tremendously enjoyed the fact that quite a few of you are from California, and that's where I started my American life. Back to you, Jaymol.
Welcome, Julie. Jim.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, and welcome to everyone. My name is Jim. I live in, I live about a half hour outside of New York City, and I'm really looking forward to this meeting tonight. I'm very happy to be here, very happy to see everyone. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Jim. Let's move on to our prepared speeches, and after that, I'll come and ask the other guests. Our first prepared speech is by Doris. Let me call upon Susan to share purpose of Doris' speech.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Doris will be speaking from her Motivational Strategies Path, Level 1. The project is Introduction to Vocal Variety and Body Language. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice using vocal variety or body language to enhance a speech.
Thank you, Susan. Doris? Rich me, poor me. Rich me, poor me. Doris. When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Here's what she said to me. No, you will never be rich. For years, your father and I have been trying to have a boy. We even have his name picked, Rich. But as soon as we saw you, we knew you will never be rich. I will never be rich. I will never be rich. I will never be rich. Fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. For years, I've been living under the spell of my own mother. But thank God, He has given me special talents to fight against that spell. Even at age 3, I discovered that I have eagle-like eyesight, sharper than a metal detector. I remember one day I was playing on the slide in the park. Suddenly, out of the corner of my eyes, I spotted something shiny on the ground. So with torpedo speed, I dove down and dashed over to pick up that shiny object. I ran back to Mother. Mommy, see what I got. Mother looked at what's in my palm and she said, oh, honey, that is a penny. It is good stuff. When you have a lot of them, you can buy candies, toys, and games. So from that day on, I became part of the street cleaning crew. While the professionals were picking up trash, I was picking up treasure. Everything went well for a while until one day after a cleaning trip. I was ready to count my cash. But when I reached into my pocket, I was devastated. I found a big hole in my pocket and I lost everything. I was very fussy that day. My big sister couldn't stand me, so she gave me a dime to compensate my loss. That day, I learned 2 lessons. 1, always check my pockets. 2, file my claims with big sister. Then at age 13, like many teenagers, I spent a lot of time at the mall. I did not just clean the streets. I started wandering into the stores and clean up some of the shelves as well. Pretty soon, I exhausted my life savings. So I have to think of something that
I don't have to reduce my spending. I don't have to reduce my shopping without spending too much. So I thought of buying things in quantities because the unit price was good. One time I bought a 25-pound bag of oatmeal. So for a long, long time, I have oatmeal for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack. My boyfriend complained that I smell like oatmeal. I also cut out coupons from newspapers. And I bought buy one, get one free. Sometimes I even got the items free after rebate. I also started my Thanksgiving and Christmas shopping early, 1 year early on the day after. Sometimes I even came outside the store overnight for big sale. Unfortunately, I got sick and have to pay 200% more than I saved and pay the doctor. And then at age 23, I thought of saving a dime or a penny won't get rich fast. So I was looking for a part-time job. I had an interview with a Japanese restaurant. The owner didn't think that I speak Japanese, but I convinced him that I did know some Japanese. Sushi, wasabi, oishi, Toyota, sayonara, arigato. Luckily, his wife liked me. She said, I like Doris-san very, very much. She has the best Japanese bow. Of course, I have 20 years of training picking up the pennies. And when age 20, and when age 33, then I realized the best way is to have, and the Japanese restaurant customers realized that I was so polite and they tipped me very well and I was getting rich. And I invest my money in the stock market. So my money grew and grew and I was approaching the $1 million mark. And unfortunately, when the stock market crashed and I was approaching the poverty line, fortunately, I was married to a .com guy who invested heavily in real estate. And our marriage lasted as short as his .com business. And when we got divorced, the attorney divided his houses, one for him, one for me, another one for him, another one for me. So I was rich again. And then at age 33, I found the Elizabeth Taylor way to stay rich. But nobody can stay rich forever. And I have to share my riches with two silent partners, Uncle Sam and the plastic surgeon. You see, we cannot stay rich all the time. Poor me, Madam Toastmaster.
Doris, that was excellent. Cannot stay rich all the time. Poor me. Awesome, great speech. Let's take 1 minute of silence to give feedback to Doris in private chat. Timer, 1 minute, please.
1 minute is up.
Thank you, timer. So talking about how to keep composure during difficult situations, one of the things that I learned is don't allow your emotions to get in the way. When I lost all my teammates, it was so easy to go tell my manager, this is not fair. Our project needs people. I did not do that. What I did is I just let the reality soak within me and just stay calm. Now with that, let's move on to our second speaker. Our second speaker is Kalpana and her evaluator is Aparna. Aparna, can you please share Kalpana's speech purpose?
Thank you, Toastmaster. So Kalpana has embarked herself on the pathway engaging humor, and this is going to be her level 1 project 2. She is looking at giving a speech with humor, and that's the very purpose, writing a speech with a defined purpose. So wishing Kalpana all the best. Back to you, Toastmaster Jaymol.
Thank you, Aparna. Kalpana, are you alive? Are you alive? Kalpana.
We can't hear you.
Kalpana, you're not audible.
While she comes back, why don't I share a little bit about me? And then after that, we'll let her come in. So talking about keeping composure, another thing is don't take things personally. Many a times when we are so attached
am I audible
to a
from
project, yes, you are. So I'll get back to my story. And one lesson I learned is don't take things personally. Now with that, let me introduce Kalpana again. Kalpana, are you alive? Are you alive? Kalpana.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Once, there lived a beautiful peacock in an Indian garden. It was full of life, mighty, and it also had a quality to be human friendly. It was so friendly that all the children who used to come to play to the park, it never objected if any one of them plucked its feathers. It just be more generous just because it felt that it has so many feathers, and if one child takes one of its feather, it is not going to make any difference to her. It was very happy. But one day, a dog entered into the park. It saw the peacock and it was feeling that the peacock was going to be its meal. The peacock soon realized the predator and started to run away, but it could not do it. It tried to take the flight. That is when the peacock realized that it lost its feathers, which helped it to fly. Eventually, peacock learned the lesson, but it died. This is what happens when we neglect ourselves. In our relationships also, as a friend, as a teacher, as a mother, or any other relationship that we carry, we always give priority for people around us. We don't consider ourselves as priority. I myself wanted to become a teacher, a dancer, a doctor, But due to many priorities which I had in my life, I had to continuously adjust to what my circumstances were. I started my dancing career when I was 8 years old. I was so passionate that by 15 years, I became a school dance teacher in nearby school. I was really happy. I was continuing my studies along with my passion. But after a few years, after my post graduation, I have to give up my dance career and also my teaching hobby because I have to make bread and butter for my family. I have to take up an IT job. And things changed much more after my marriage, or rather, I would say my priorities have changed after my marriage. I have to give priority for my family. I have to give priority for my work. I have to give priority for my everything around me. I became the peacock that was neglected. It neglected its feathers, and same way I also did the same thing. 10 years of my marriage, I realized that there was something which was missing in me. I felt a dancer or a teacher who was very happy is no more, and I have created a vacuum in myself. I tried to understand what can be done. I quickly realized that I have to do something, and the first thing I did was to talk to my family. I spoke to my husband and my kids, and I explained them what my priorities or my requirements were. Luckily, my family understood, and we planned something wherein we could achieve my passion, my career, and also all the things which I was doing. Within 1 year, I started continuing my dance teaching career, and I am blessed to have a family who became my first students and helped me to take my dance class ahead. I also started to adopt new art forms and ensured that I am growing and I am becoming a better person than what I was yesterday. I always want to tell you all that when you are passionate, you wanted to have something and you feel that you are losing some of your qualities, we can sit together, you can talk to people, understand and explain what their requirements are, bring out a plan and implement that plan. Soon you will understand that you are able to lead a better life than what you had been worried about all these days. There are times wherein we might be feeling that I am losing myself, I don't have my career, I don't have people of my choice, or even I don't wear the dress which I wanted to wear just because I have to be good with something else. But this all things can be worked out by just small planning. If the peacock would have understood that the feathers are important, if the children would have understood that the feathers are for the specific reason of the peacock to give it a flight, then things would have been different in the Indian park that I have seen. I hope one day we will start to keep all our importances together with us. We continue our hobbies, we continue our passion along with what the requirements are. Then I'm sure that we'll be able to live. Toastmaster of the day, are you alive with your hobby?
Excellent, Kalpana. Are you alive? There are times you have to put a pause, put some of your hobbies at a pause so that you can give priority to something that is happening right now, and then come back and take up your hobby and move forward with it. Excellent learning. Now with that, let's give 1 minute of silence to share. Let's all share feedback to Kalpana in private chat. Timer, please give me 1 minute of silence.
1 minute is up.
Thank you, Swati. Now, talking about keeping composure during difficult times, I mentioned don't take things personally. I would take things personally mainly because I would take that project very close to my heart. And when I do that, I allow noise and politics around me to suffocate my thinking and as a result, my decision-making capabilities. I have learned to not take things personally and to accept whatever comes my way. And the third thing is keep a positive mental attitude. When you smile often and keep a positive attitude by staying strong and being compassionate, you start to attract more positive things. And as a result, it becomes easy for me by keeping a positive mental attitude to move forward and not be distracted. Even if there is muddiness right now, I will be able to find the path. So that's why keeping a positive mental attitude helps. Now with this, let's move on to our very exciting table topics. Our table topics master is Abhijit. Abhijit, it's all you.
Thank you so much, Jaymol. Today's table topics prompts are going to be very short, so I want you to listen very carefully. I'm going to start out with Nishit. Nishit is the grammarian for today, and today's word of the day is malleable. I encourage you to use the word of the day in the table topics. Nishit, are you ready?
Yes.
Your most malleable moment. Your most malleable moment, Nishit.
My most malleable moment. I have to say, my most malleable moment happened when I was in college. When I did my undergrad. I did my undergrad at the Ohio State University in Columbus. And not only I learned a lot about, I was studying chemical engineering at that moment. So not only did I learn a lot about that subject, but I also learned a lot about the culture. At that time, I was new to the country. I had been in the country for only 3 years, 2.5 years in the US. So I had very impressionable mind. I had already been struggling with being Indian and being American, or trying to fit into the American culture. So there's a lot of things where, I learned some wrong things. Not always, I didn't always learn the right things, but that's part of the college, right? Like I might have drank more than I should have. That was probably the wrong kind of malleable impression I had on me. But I also learned a lot about just not just the subject that I was studying for, but more about the world history. I took the technical electives. I took a theater class where I never thought I would do something like that. With that, I got to see some plays, and that opened up my mind to a different form of entertainment. And I also learned a lot about social structures and social qualities and skills that you should have if you want to fit into a culture. So yeah, I still believe that 5 years of college was still one of the most malleable experience of my life. So back to you, Abhijit. Thank you.
Thank you, Nishit. Thank you for sharing that. I'm curious to learn more about your theater experience. Maybe you can share it in the form of a speech. My next question is for you, Eric. Eric, your most challenging moment. Your most challenging moment, Eric.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abhijit. My most challenging moment. Well, it's kind of hard to choose one challenging moment, the most challenging moment, but maybe I would say that I would share one, which is I like soccer, and I to the church that I went, they had a soccer team, and I started participating there. But later on, I noticed that some of the decisions from the technical side, they could be improved. So I volunteered myself when the coach stepped out to become the new coach. And it was very challenging every week to be with the team and lead the team because I was not the oldest of the team. I had older people join the team and younger. So it was challenging, but at the end, it was a learning experience, really good, because I did that for 4 tournaments, and we won 2 of those tournaments. We were champions, and we did okay on the rest. So I think that that's a challenging experience, and also you gotta be malleable in that kind of situations to adapt to the different profiles. So that's what I wanted to share with all of you.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you for sharing your soccer journey with us. My next question is for you, Shravanti. Shravanti, to be, Shravanti.
To be is the only question that you ever need to ask yourself or live. Not to be is something that we ponder over as we go through life. But to be, to me, means to live in the moment, to realize that we are here for a purpose, to have that focus, and to say that I am grateful. I am grateful to be in this moment. Just like I am today, at this moment, being malleable, open to all of the stories you're telling me, all of the stories you're sharing, imbuing that spirit of continuous learning, of passion, of moving forward, of thinking about ourselves and who we want to be. In any case, our journeys are defined by who we want to be, because that's the only thing we can control. All of the attributes that come into our life from different directions is not something we can contribute to or control. But what we can control is what we want to be. So staying in the moment, absorbing all that is around us, being grateful for the things that we are blessed to be, and continuously pursuing the passions that drive us, that get us out of bed each and every day. That, to me, Table Topics Master, is to be. So I throw a challenge to each of you. Do you think of to be often enough? Just like our speaker Kalpana said, are you alive? What does it mean to you to be? It doesn't have to be my definition of to be. It has to be your definition of to be. So my friends, I say, let us be, because to be is the only subject that we ever need to ponder. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Shravanti. I agree with you. Present moment is the gift, and we should always cherish that. My next question is for you, Jim. Your pet peeve. Your pet peeve, Jim.
My pet peeve. This is not to be critical of people, but I have to say that one of the things that really trouble me most is that when I'm talking with someone or with a group of people and they are not clear in terms of what they're telling me. In other words, if I ask them something and if it's a difficult situation, they don't always come out with a straight answer. They try to maybe try to cushion the blow so that I won't feel as badly or what have you. And it takes all of the malleability I have in order to be patient enough to just recognize that, oh, people are not always going to be clear in terms of their communication. And what it requires of me is that I continue to be as clear as I can be, so that when they're listening to me, maybe they can take away something from listening to me. So that some of the things that aggravate me do not have to remain an aggravation. It can be a source of progress and moving forward. Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Jim. It sounds like you like people to be straight shooters.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you for sharing that. My next question for you, Carol. Never again. Never again, Carol.
Is it me? Thank you, Table Topics Master. Can you please repeat the topic?
Never again. Never again, Carol sang.
Never again. This is something that all of us will have done, regretted, and would say, never again, I will do it this way. I will do it the other way. Why we didn't think of that in the very beginning? I don't know. It happened many times. When I went for my golf game, I will always do as what I read in the magazine. Do it this way, bring up your golf club, go down, and when I look at the image of the person, the golfer, the pro, so beautiful. It must be like that. I am like that. Yes, I will do it this way. So it was a competition. I went with confidence. I took up the golf club, bring it as high as possible, imagining me that is the pro that I saw at the video. I went up, swash. Where did the ball go? Where? Everybody said, the ball was still there at the tee. Oh my goodness, I was so shameful. And I started to stutter. You see, I'm so malleable, easily influenced by all these videos. Okay, I will do it better, right? This time, make sure that I hit the ball. 1, 2, and a 3, and I bang down. The ball, yes, went into the drain. Never again I will follow all these videos. I went to look for a coach. And with a coach telling me from fundamentals, from basic where you start off. And I played golf for more than 15 years already. I'm now a good amateur where I can enjoy my game. Thank you, and back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you for sharing. That was humorous. My next question is for you, Julie. Julie, one more time. One more time, Julie.
One more time, I will visit you. And then I will decide whether I want to join this club. My first impression is wonderful. As I say, I love diversity. I love the different type of people, age and country and profession and accents and all sorts of things. I have been a Toastmaster only for 3 years and a member of 2 clubs, but that doesn't mean I cannot join another one if I like it. I actually prefer the Zoom meetings because then I can see the people's names and I can see the names again and again and again, and I will remember better than just hear the names. So that is my answer to the question. I think at my advanced age, I can still be malleable, if I pronounce it right. And that's my message to the table topic masters. Thank you very much for calling on me.
Thank you, Julie. What's not to like about us, Julie? My next question is for you, Namita. Your most satisfying failure. Your most satisfying failure, Namita.
Hello, Toastmasters and dear guests. The most satisfying failure. Well, I did a tremendous job last year because when there is no line between work and home, everything gets blurred. Because when you used to go to office, there's a certain time when you log in and log out. At work, at home, working from home remotely, it's just not there. You never know, like, you know, there's a task, and I'm a person, I just can't keep a task pending. So I have to get it done, even if it is not near the deadline. The lines melt, and I did a tremendous job. I got a promotion without asking for it. I got 7 awards. I got appreciation from the director of the client. That has never happened in my 12 years of career in IT. All this happened in last year, but I did not realize I'm getting stressed. Burnout was showing up. I just didn't realize that my soft skill is going down. People say I'm a friendly, approachable, reliable person, but I was actually becoming a Godzilla in some meetings, and I did not realize it. And that led to a not so satisfying rating and appraisal. I had expected far more, but it is not just to the mark. But then I learned that the theoretical part of 80% soft skill and 20% technical skill. And I actually did a practical of it and failed. And now I know what I should do. I'm still reaching there, but I'm pretty sure I'll make it. So that's the most satisfying failure. Over to you, Abhishek.
Thank you for sharing with us, Namita. My last question is for Manodaya.
Yes.
Your biggest adventure, Manodaya.
Yes. My biggest adventure is coming for my higher education. Actually, I lived in Anuradhapura, Sri Lanka. I lived for actually at least 20 years. My year is 22. After I came to Colombo is the capital of Sri Lanka. I had to face a lot of challenges. I have to live alone. Now I live in a boarding place. It's a very nice place, but in first days I couldn't use bus because I don't know how to use bus. 2 days I went in a wrong bus. That's a very challenging situation for me, but now I manage it. And the electricity problem, even today also we have electricity problem. Without electricity we can't do online education. Today at least 10 hours we lost without electricity in Sri Lanka because of dollar problem. That is a very challenge problem for me, but I managed it. And also my cricket, those days I couldn't play cricket because I have an injury. I think it's be recover soon. So I think now I am in a good situation. uh, only my knee injury. After that I can play cricket and do my higher studies soon as possible, because India give loans for us, then our government can supply current, then we can educate as educate well. So I think it's a very nice experience. So that is my story. Thank you, Abhijit. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Glad you had power for the meeting. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Abhijit, for those wonderful questions. Now, with that, let's move on to the heart of Toastmasters, which is evaluation. Let me call upon our first evaluator, Susan, to evaluate Doris's speech. Susan?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and Doris. You captivated your audience instantly. How courageous to start with a song. I was singing along with you, and then I was ready to hear Mom's words of que sera, sera. And instead you said, no, never. And it truly brought the humor because it was unexpected. Now, what I saw from you was this great big smile and gestures that enhanced your speech throughout the entirety of your presentation. From reaching in your pocket and finding the hole with your hand to the counting of 2s or 3s that you were doing, you also had the bow down, the Japanese bow that you had rehearsed so much from picking up the pennies, also very humorous. You captivated your audience and me throughout with your gestures and your humor. Now, what I heard from you was a very well-organized chronological speech. You brought us from when you were just a little girl, as a child, and you were so impactful with your message that you learned, plus about your sister, the things that you learned from, check your pockets and turn to your big sister for your claims that you had for your losses. Great lesson, great humor. What I also heard from you was throughout a great deal of vocal variety. You used your words wisely. They were clear, they were understandable, and everyone understood you. But when you had your punchline, you gave us extra words, extra sounds, extra notes in the words. You had a smile in your voice throughout the entirety of your speech, and I very much appreciated it. There was one point towards the end of the speech where you appeared to lose your place, but I commend you for being so malleable to keep going and pick up where you left off. You went through the stories of the .com marriage. The marriage lasted as long as his .com. That's a great inside joke for the audience, not long enough, obviously. And then the real estate. You did have a moment when you mentioned the Elizabeth Taylor way. It might have been enhanced if you gave us a clue. Keep marrying upward, an extra sentence in there, because she just kept marrying rich fellows. And of course, the humor back to having to share it with Uncle Sam and the plastic surgeon. That blew me away because it was so totally unexpected. You are a beautiful young lady. You have the most amazing sense of humor, and your gestures and your vocal variety enhanced the speech that I enjoyed it from moment to moment to moment. Thank you so very much for a wonderful presentation. I'm sure I'm going to be listening to many more of your humorous speeches. I loved it. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Susan. Now with that, let me call upon our second evaluator, Aparna, to evaluate Kalpana's speech. Aparna?
Thank you for that, Madam Toastmaster. And thank you, Kalpana, for waking us up, in at least for those of us who logged in from India, asking that question, saying, are you alive? You had me ask myself that question even just as I started listening to what you had to say. For someone who loved dance, to transition to moving to IT because you to be the breadwinner, to again being able to pursue the dance. I think your malleability is visible at every step as I've experienced it. I loved the analogy which you started off with, and the peacock, well, not just because it's India's bird, but it's a personal favorite. Peacock as a bird is someone I love to watch. I think I'm a bit of a peacock myself, love to preen all the time, so I could draw that little, semblance there for me to be able to look at. Moving on to really the speech and what I felt about it, let me start off with what are the things that worked really well, according to me. Great pace, a good calm in spite of the initial glitch with network that you had. You stepped back in, you didn't allow that to get your cool in any form. I saw some great transition from the peacock describing his feathers, etc., to linking it to you, experiencing those feathers going off, and then back to the peacock. It was a great transition and moving back. What could have been better? I was looking for a little more humor when you said your speech criteria was to look at humor. And even if it was self-deprecating humor, I think you could have done that, right? And perhaps going forward, you want to look at gestures. How would they help in being able to bring in humor? Would you want to have plucked off those feathers? Okay, that could have perhaps brought in that little smile for yourself and plugged in that humor. Alternatively, the emotional ride with vocal variety. That sad image of a peacock who couldn't take off, a peacock who knew the predator with the dog coming into the park. All of those would have helped bring out all that you'd gone through and to still assert that unlike the peacock, you were alive. What did do an amazing part, of course, and sort of to the end, was just the smile that you always have. I think that just takes care of everything. It doesn't matter what you say, because you have that smile on, it helps a person connect. So for me to quickly summarize what I would ask you to keep doing, hang on to that pace and that calm and that smile that helps you be a hit every single time. What you would want to work more at is a little more vocal variety, be able to work at some more gestures, and allowing for yourself to be a little more relaxed. If you did those, I think you're going to have a fantastic speech each time around and more. I always look forward to listening to you. So it was a pleasure like every time, this time too. Thank you for asking me to evaluate the speech on your behalf. Wishing you all the very best. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Aparna. Now let's call upon our functionary roles to give their report. Grammarian, can you please share your report?
Hi, thank you. As a grammarian, I was glad to see about half of the members who were speaking today use the word of the day. So that's always good to hear. I'd like to see that go up to maybe 80% or even 100%. So really glad to see people using the word of the day and in the right manner. As far as speeches and table topics go, I don't have any direct feedback for any people. I think everyone did a really good job. No one used grammar wrong per se. There were a couple of mix-ups, but I think that comes with the nervousness. And as we get more comfortable with speaking, we'll get to a better place together. One general feedback I have for everybody is keep in mind of the tenses that you're using. I saw a couple of people messed up their past tense to future tense and so on and so forth. So just make sure if you're talking about past tense, use the past tense words. And if you're talking about going into the future, please make sure to use the future tense words. The other thing I noticed is pronunciation for a lot of the words were different, but I think that comes from the geographical area we grew up, so I'm not gonna dive into it. But the one thing I'd say is make sure your pronunciations are consistent throughout. I heard a couple of times where it changed from sounding like one thing to the next thing, so just make sure it's consistent so you don't confuse your audience. But other than that, it was great speeches from everybody. I loved hearing the speeches. Table topics were fantastic, and no any big grammatical errors that I could see. So back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much for the detailed report. Now let me call upon Swati to give your timer's report.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. So the first speaker, Doris, took 7 minutes, 5 seconds. And the second speaker, Kalpana, took 6 minutes, 10 seconds. Then I would go to the table topic session. First person, Nishit, took 1 minute, 40 seconds. Second person, Eric, took 1 minute, 35 seconds. Shravanti gave her table topic session for 1 minute 53 seconds. Jim, 1 minute 52 seconds. Carol, 2 minute 2 seconds. Julie, 1 minute 20 seconds. Namita, 1 minute 30 seconds. Manodya, 1 minute 50 seconds. Next, I would like to go over the report for the evaluators. Susan gave her evaluation for 3 minutes 10 seconds. And the second evaluator, Aparna, took 3 minutes 35 seconds. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Swati. Now we're coming to the close of the meeting, and I would like to conclude the theme by saying, reinvent yourself and adapt to the unexpected. Don't lose your composure. I really enjoyed this meeting today, and we will adjourn this meeting for now, but please continue to stay back for the social time. See you all next week, same time, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, and stay back for now for some social time.